Hello ladies and gents, welcome to our first episode in our video series for Java database driven application using JDBC. In this episode we are going to set up our models, which are simply some plain old Java objects representing every single item in our database tables. Let's start with, we are going to organize them into a different package. We already have here our demos.ui package, which contains our views, our windows, or forms. Now from here we're going to create a new class, but this class is not going to be inside of the UI package. We're going to create a new package for this. We'll call this models. Alright, and click on finish. Oh no, I just named it new class. Oh, no problem. We can just refactor this, rename this. We'll start with the customer class. Okay, so our customer class, according to our diagram here, is going to have last name or L name, F name, phone address, and license number, or no. So here we're going to have private string L name, private string F name, private string phone, string address, private string license number. And then we'll provide a constructor. So you can just right click here and then insert code and choose constructor, and we'll select all of the properties and generate a constructor for that. Next we'll have setters and getters. Insert code again, click on getter and setter, and then we'll select them all. It's also a good idea to encapsulate the fields and click on generate once again. Finally, we're going to give this toString override function so that we can represent this each and every object by the name of this customer. So here we're also going to right click and insert code once again, and we'll do toString, and instead we'll just be using let's just select none. We'll provide ourselves with our own data. So we'll simply return the F name with a space and then the last name. So that would be our string identity or string representation of every customer object. Okay, so that will be it for the customer. Let's now proceed with our next class. This time we'll do cars or car, and click on finish. Same thing for our car. We have make, model, plate, color, and year. So we have private string make, string model, color, plate, and we'll have an int for year. Once again, right click and insert code, constructor, and select them all. Next, again, we'll right click and insert code, and then getter and setter, select them all, encapsulate, and finally insert code toString, and we are going to return here the make and the model of the car. So you have make plus the model plus the inside of a bracket will include the plate. There we go. Finally, our third class for our model is going to be the rental. So add there rental. And for our rental, we have the customer, the car, date taken, date returned, and deposit. So since the customer ID here refers to a customer, we are not going to use an int holding a customer ID. Instead, we'll be making a reference to an actual customer object. That is also true with the car. We're not going to use an integer to hold a car ID. Instead, we will be referencing an actual car object. So in our rental, we are going to have here private. For customer, it's going to be a customer class or object, customer. Then for car, it's going to be a car object as well. Next is, of course, the date taken is we'll be using SQL date. So private date, date taken, and private date, date returned. Our date is again coming from the SQL package, so we'll import that here, Java, import java.sql.date. And so next is we're going to again do the same thing with the constructors, and then we'll do the constructor again. Insert code, constructor, select all. Are we done? Actually, we still lack the deposit. Private float deposit. Okay. And then we'll do the constructor this time. Select all. And then again for getter and setter, select all, encapsulate. And finally, we're going to decide how are we going to represent this as a string. Insert code to string. So how do we do this? Maybe we'll just have customer name renting a particular car. I think that would be it. So let's do that. So we are going to get the customer, and we get the name, get f name, and customer, space, and then customer dot get l name, and then just do the make model. So a dash here, and we'll do the make and model. Of course, the car that make and the car that model. I'm losing my mind. Get make and get model. And let's bump this code down like so, making it more readable. Okay, so we have successfully set up our models, which will be representing, it's just a vessel for the data from the database. The data from the database will be stored in objects of these classes, so that Java, our application, our programming, which is Java, can simply use it natively. So that's it for this episode. See you again for the next episode. And of course, if you like this kinds of video, don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell button. Thank you so much, and see you again in the next episode.